What's going on, everyone? So, the final day of the NBA season. We're here, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful day. What a long, exciting road it has been. What a season, man. Seriously, I'm going to have to do like a season breakdown or something because this has been a wild season for the Lakers from, getting Luka and everything like that. But today is the day we find out who we end up playing in the first round of the postseason. Now, there are so many different factors and variations, and if there's three-way ties and all this, like there's a lot that goes into who like these various teams could end up playing. Right? The East, it was kind of settled in. It's the West. The Wild West is like there's all these different combinations and possibilities of like, who Houston plays, who OKC plays, so that obviously the play-in and stuff like that. Like who's going to be, the four play-in teams that are fighting to get the 7th and 8th seed. So it's going to be a roller coaster of a day. But the one we really care about is the Lakers. Now, as a basketball fan, I am so pumped for the playoffs. Not so much the Eastern Conference, because I think the Eastern Conference is probably going to go how you expect it. But the West, man, I cannot wait. The play-in games are going to be lit. The regulars or the regular playoff games are going to be lit. Man, like this is going to be crazy. Like I'm like genuine. You can make an argument for, again, just removing my Laker bias for a moment, because I do think the Lakers are coming out the West, but there is an argument to be made for like 7 teams to be representing the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. It is wild. So I am really stoked for that. But from the Lakers side of things, because it's a Laker channel, right? So let's talk about the Lakers side of things. It is looking like we are either playing the the Minnesota Timberwolves. Memphis Grizzlies lost. Minnesota Timberwolves, or the Golden State Warriors, right? So Minnesota or Golden State. Those are the 2 teams that the Lakers look like they're going to end up playing. Again, depending on like certain tiebreakers and stuff, but more likely than not, it's going to be one of those 2 teams. I prefer, this is just me, I prefer the Warriors. I have said it from the beginning. I've seen a lot of Laker fans, because of the last loss to the Warriors, feel like we can't beat the Warriors, which I think is ridiculous. Circumstances and context matters. Right? Yeah, the Warriors beat us, but Luka had probably his worst game as a Laker. Dorian Finney-Smith by far had his worst game as a Laker. Lakers as a team were not very good that game. Pod had literally a career night. Draymond Green went into that game, I think it was like 4 of 21 from 3-point range, and ended up making 2. So he literally made half of what he had going into that game, right? Like there were so many factors that went into the game, and the Lakers still were in position to win that game. Lakers still could have won that game, even despite all of that. Luka has scored more points against the Warriors than anybody. Warriors are the only team in the league that doesn't have the interior size to punish us and make us work, right? Like, I want the Warriors. I do. And look, maybe, you never know how it's going to play out. You never know how this is going to work. So it's very possible that, maybe this ages poorly and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done this. But at the end of the day, I want the smoke. If the Lakers beat the Warriors, who are the hottest team in the league going into the postseason, the Houston Rockets, who were the 2 seed all season, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were the best team all season, and then end up playing the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers, what is anyone going to say? When we run through that gauntlet, no one's going to be able to say anything, right? Lakers won that. That was one of the hardest playoff runs ever, and the Lakers won that. There's always going to be like the trolls that are trying to like, oh, well, it's because of this. Like, stop, right? If Lakers would have lost those teams, you would have been like, Lakers, like, so stop, right? But that's my point, right? I want the smoke with anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. I think the Lakers can beat anybody. Now, why then do I not want to play Minnesota, right? The Lakers can beat Minnesota. I absolutely think that they can beat Minnesota, but Minnesota does have a lot of interior size that could give the Lakers problems, right? Rudy Gobert is not a guy that's going to go get you 50 and, just dominate a game offensively, but he is a guy that could cause some issues on the interior, give Minnesota a ton of second chance opportunities, right? Like there's a lot that goes into Minnesota, right? Julius Randle, right? He can be a physical and poser on the interior, right? You have Naz Reid, right? You have several guys that, they have good size. Couple things about Minnesota, though. Lakers defend Anthony Edwards beautifully, like seamlessly. And I mean, so much so, Anthony Edwards himself has talked about how he hates to play the Lakers because they give him so much trouble. So I'm not worried about that. And then also, they're not a great three-point shooting team. They're a team that can get hot and hit threes. Don't get me wrong. If Dante DiVincenzo, Jaden McDaniels can be a little fluctuating depending on the games and stuff. But Julius Randle isn't this lights out three-point shooter. Rudy Gobert gives you no floor spacing. Mike Conley can be hot and cold at times. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is ridiculous. And then Jaden McDaniels is the guy that, he can have his struggles shooting the three ball. So offensively, I wonder, is Minnesota going to be able to keep up with the Lakers offensively? Also, Luka loves to own the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Lakers would also have home court, which I think is a huge advantage for them. I like our chances against Minnesota. I just think Minnesota poses more problems to the Lakers, in my opinion, than the Golden State Warriors do. I don't really care who we play, but if I could choose, I would rather have the Warriors, right? Obviously, again, no one wants to play off Jimmy and play off Steph in the first round. And from an NBA standpoint, that'd probably be the worst thing that could happen for the NBA because your two biggest box office teams, one of them's going home immediately, right? The first round would be great, but after that, ideally you want those two to meet each other in the conference finals, and then the winner goes to the NBA finals, and now you have that Steph. You could really hype it up at that point. Where if they, one of them fizzles out in the first round, it's now there that goes, right? So, because I've seen people be like, oh, maybe they'll try to rig it for the Warriors to lose or whatever. So that way they end up being the team that plays the Lakers. I disagree. I think if the NBA was going to, fix it to where the Lakers play the Warriors, it would be in the conference finals because then those two can go there and now you have the biggest game in the postseason at that point, right? But again, I'm okay with whoever. I don't care. Bring on either. I would rather go with the Warriors. I just think the Lakers match up far better. I just think they have more size overall, right? I just think you got to worry about the three-point shot. You got to be able to contain Steph, stuff like that. But you have 7 games to basically game plan and scheme to try to slow those guys down. I like our chances. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.